What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. Today we have this Vivo iQOO 9 Pro, Xiaomi 12 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro. Yeah, I have the smartphones and sometimes when people ask me like, are you doing fake camera comparison videos? I feel like, okay, I don't know how to say. Anyway, I have done separate review videos, separate comparison videos. I wish that you will also check those videos. Before we start the camera comparison video, I have to mention two things. Number one, all of these three smartphones, I have updated these on January 16th, 2022. All the pictures were taken between January 16th to January 18th. And we should say thanks to AceFast for sponsoring this video. We like AceFast products. We have a few AceFast chargers over here and we always use those. If you are looking for chargers or any smartphone related accessories, AceFast almost have everything. I have left a link in the description box below. If you are interested, then please don't forget to check. What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. Today I have this iQOO 9 Pro, Xiaomi 12 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro. I'm not bragging, I'm not ranting, it's the truth. There is nobody here. Almost half the city is empty at this moment because we are in a partial lockdown and I am outside. Why? Only because of doing this camera comparison video for my subscribers and regular viewers. So I wish if you find this video helpful, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel. And I also wish these smartphone brands, they will start sending me review units. These brands usually don't send me review units because they are afraid of the truth. Anyway, I wish these brands start sending me review unit because it's very difficult for me to get the smartphone so early. I have to use my personal connections, I have to pay a lot of money, I have to pull a lot of strings, and then I can get these smartphones, I mean, so quickly after the release or launching event. Well, check carefully which smartphone has rendered my skin tone correctly. It's Xiaomi 12 Pro. Check carefully which smartphone has a better dynamic range. Again, Xiaomi 12 Pro. Which smartphone has a better stabilization. Very difficult to say now, but I think it's Xiaomi 12 Pro. I actually hated Xiaomi 12 Pro selfie camera when they have released it. On the very first day I have got one unit and I have tried to do some camera comparison videos, and selfie camera performance of Xiaomi 12 Pro was like awful. But look at this. With an update, they have done the magic. Anyway, OnePlus has never tried to improvise their selfie camera performance, and iQOO being a Vivo smartphone, I really have no, how to say, expectations. Yeah, I don't expect anything from Vivo selfie camera performance. I don't expect anything from Vivo selfie camera. I have this Vivo X70 Pro Plus. I really love that smartphone, but selfie camera performance of Vivo X70 Pro Plus is very mediocre. I'm very happy to see that Xiaomi has improvised their selfie camera performance. Anyway, one more time, if you end up liking this video, then please don't forget to click on the like button and please subscribe to this channel. It's time to start our camera comparison between iQOO 9 Pro, Xiaomi 12 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and
Time for 4K 30 frames per second daytime video clips. Definitely dynamic range is better on OnePlus 10 Pro. iQOO 9 Pro video clip is better stabilized, but color grading is better on Xiaomi 12 Pro. Color temperature is also almost close to natural on Xiaomi 12 Pro. All of these three smartphones actually have good exposure under bright daylight, but Xiaomi 12 Pro exposure is slightly better than OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro. In terms of details and texture processing, once again all of these three have done very well, but OnePlus 10 Pro is slightly ahead. Xiaomi 12 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro both have similar type of details and shadows. However, altogether, considering all the aspects, this point goes to Xiaomi 12 Pro. It's time for 4K 30 frames per second nighttime videos. Oh yes, finally, this place got some time to rest. Due to restrictions, there is almost nobody here. Usually this place is full of people and loud music. Let's get to the point. iQOO 9 Pro has managed to grab more details. It has slightly better exposure, and of course, iQOO 9 Pro color rendition is better than the other two. OnePlus has managed to successfully remove noise, brightness and contrast ratio is also a bit better on OnePlus 10 Pro. Stabilization is actually very similar on all of these three smartphones. However, it seems iQOO 9 Pro has slightly better stabilization. Even if iQOO 9 Pro has picked up a lot of details, texture processing seems to be a bit better on OnePlus 10 Pro. Xiaomi 12 Pro has also done well. It's actually not far behind than the other two. If Xiaomi 12 Pro had better exposure and color rendition, then it would be comparable to OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro. I will keep this point because we are gonna check another nighttime video and then we will decide the winner of this segment.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we come back to life, we're still breathing. Standing up, everybody's gonna see it. Oh, all you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. Oh,
Time for 1080p UltraSteady video clips. iQOO 9 Pro uses its poor ultrawide sensor for horizontal leveling or UltraSteady mode. Xiaomi 12 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro uses their main sensor. Both the Xiaomi 12 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro have managed to grab a lot of details. Color rendition is definitely better on Xiaomi 12 Pro while OnePlus 10 Pro has better exposure. Okay, these video clips are all about stabilization. And yes, iQOO 9 Pro has managed to have better stabilization, but iQOO 9 Pro has almost failed to grab any details. And after considering all the aspects, altogether OnePlus 10 Pro is the winner of this segment. These video clips were recorded in 1080p 60 frames per second. All of these are flagship smartphones and comes with top-class main sensor tagged to OIS. iQOO 9 Pro even got gimbal stabilization on its main sensor. I think this is down to personal preferences. In terms of details, textures and sharpness, there is very minimum and almost negligible differences. It seems exposure is slightly better on iQOO 9 Pro while dynamic range is better on OnePlus 10 Pro. After checking these clips for hundreds of times, I think iQOO 9 Pro deserves the point. At the beginning, this set of photos were taken with AI enabled and afterwards all the main sensor photos are taken without AI. All the photos are taken in auto mode with HDR enabled. Yes, all of these three smartphones got Pro mode and if you have the time you can play with that, but most of the general users uses auto mode. OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro processed photos with stylistic rendition of colors, while Xiaomi 12 Pro has tried hard to keep it true to life. In some photos, I had to check metadata of the photos cause performance is really very close to each other. These days, most of the flagship smartphones performs like a monster in bright daylight and these three are no different. Yeah, all of these three has performed very well, but Xiaomi has failed to maintain consistency in exposure management. In search of true-to-life color tone, sometimes colors are a bit pale. Sometimes contrast ratio isn't as perfect as other flagships. And on top of all of these, Xiaomi 12 Pro has failed to correct color temperature. OnePlus 10 Pro sometimes produced underexposed photos, contrast ratio is a bit high and white balance is far from natural. iQOO 9 Pro photos looks vivid and vibrant, but sometimes colors are saturated, highlight is way too high. I cannot say any of these performed like a king and at the same time none of these are far from each other. Based on personal preferences, any of these can be a winner, but Xiaomi 12 Pro really needs a lot of polishing. I would give iQOO 9 Pro the point for more details and consistency. Okay, it's time for ultra-wide photos, and this set of photos are taken with AI disabled on all of these smartphones. HDR was set to auto and these are usual ultra-wide photos. A lot of people are waiting for 150-degree distorted ultra-wide photos. Both the OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro have that option. Both have a bit wider FOV than Xiaomi 12 Pro. Now, these photos were taken with AI enabled and HDR was again set to auto. You can see the differences, right? Xiaomi 12 Pro has the worst AI processing, and one more time, here goes that 150-degree ultra-wide photos. In iQOO 9 Pro, this option is directly available, but on OnePlus 10 Pro, you need to flip through some options to activate it. Personally, I don't see any usability of this option cause it doesn't look that cool and it doesn't actually grab a lot too much extra. OnePlus 10 Pro continued to process ultra-wide photos with warm color temperature. Xiaomi has decided to ride a roller coaster. Sometimes very cold and sometimes very warm. Beside these two, iQOO 9 Pro has better color temperature. All of these three smartphones got the same Samsung ISOCELL JN1 50MP sensor for ultra-wide photos, and there is almost no difference in performance. All the differences you would find are preferential. Xiaomi has more realistic color rendition while the other two looks a bit saturated. I think iQOO 9 Pro deserves another point for consistency and slightly more details. I think iQOO 9 Pro deserves another point. It has performed with consistency and it has managed to grab more details.
Here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone.
Xiaomi 12 Pro comes with the same Samsung JN1 50MP sensor for its 2x zoom photos and it lacks OIS. iQOO 9 Pro got a 16MP sensor for 2.5x zoom, while OnePlus 10 Pro got the same 8MP sensor from OnePlus 9 Pro and offers 3.3x zoom. Both the iQOO 9 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro telephoto sensors got OIS. At native optical zoom level, all of the three smartphones have done well. OnePlus has more contrast and details, iQOO 9 Pro has better exposure and color grading, while Xiaomi 12 Pro has managed to reproduce a decent zoom photo. Now these are 5x zoom photos and look at this. I was surprised how well Xiaomi 12 Pro has done. From details to colors, exposure to shadow, in every segment Xiaomi 12 Pro has done better. Another set of zoom photos at native optical zoom, but this time I have used a tripod, manually selected focus, exposure and other parameters were still on auto. Look at this, Xiaomi has done magic. Kudos to Xiaomi. Time for 10x zoom and I almost can't believe it. Cause Xiaomi 12 Pro used to have one of the worst zoom performance before the update. Also, there is a huge difference in performance between when it's handheld and when it's on a tripod. Yes, all three smartphones were in tripod. OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro performance likes to take a nosedive whenever it goes beyond their native optical zoom capabilities. But when it's about optical zoom photos, then OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro have fought well. But that's not good enough. Xiaomi 12 Pro gets the point for better daytime zoom photos.
When you feel it's
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get surprised and feel frustrated. OnePlus 10 Pro has heavily failed in daytime zoom photos and at night it has brought out its ace of spades. Xiaomi has really struggled when it's beyond 2x zoom. At native optical zoom, OnePlus has continued to dominate the other two. iQOO 9 Pro has managed to fight with OnePlus 10 Pro and sometimes even beaten OnePlus 10 Pro, but for Xiaomi 12 Pro, it was an uphill battle. I have tried handheld and on tripod, but not much of a difference, and surprisingly, OnePlus 10 Pro performed worst while it was on a tripod. Interesting, but I have no hesitation to give OnePlus 10 Pro a point for nighttime zoom photos. Before night mode photos, let's rewind. Go back for a while. We have checked this nighttime video, but we haven't watched the starting of these clips. Carefully check the sky color. Don't miss the most exciting part of these clips.
We all have our reasons why we are on this track. Oh, we all have our burdens, yeah, but we just keep on fighting and we never look back. Here we go, go, go.
Have you noticed the difference in sky color tone? Yes, iQOO 9 Pro has produced purple sky color, OnePlus 10 Pro has that shade of purple, but Xiaomi 12 Pro kept it blue. So Xiaomi 12 Pro has done better, right? No, there is a purple lamp behind that building and only iQOO 9 Pro has managed to reproduce the colors correctly. OnePlus 10 Pro has tried and came close, but Xiaomi didn't even try. In Xiaomi's stock camera algorithm, sky is blue, no matter when or where. No matter what, it will keep the sky blue. Now, it's time to give iQOO 9 Pro a point for better nighttime 4K videos. I know, most of you would like to watch this ahead of anything else. Night mode comparison of the monsters. All of these three smartphones comes with flagship class main sensor and they should perform like a beast. Different people have different ideas about night mode photos and I have my own way to check night mode photos. If you are subscribed to this channel, then you may know about DENS. Well, before we talk about that, I will let you quickly go through some night mode photos.
Memories fade away, wither out, but I can't ignore the ache. Lying deep underground, you must have lost your way. Look around, all we can do now is pray. Make it count. I've lived through what I have lived, seen pain you can't imagine.
I am truly amazed. At the same time, surprised. Really, the photos you are watching in this comparison are the hand-picked ones out of almost 50 photos. Let's talk about DENS, I mean details, exposure, noise and shadows. In most of the photos, all three have managed to grab enough details. Exposure is slightly better in iQOO 9 Pro. Noise removing algorithm on OnePlus 10 Pro is better than Xiaomi 12 Pro, but sometimes iQOO 9 Pro has done even better. Shadows are very similar. There is no way to judge which one is better than the other. Overall, a very tough task to select a winner. I think actually OnePlus 10 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro have done better than Xiaomi 12 Pro. And OnePlus 10 Pro with slight more extra details gets the winning point. After night mode photos, let us check photos of human subject. This is very important to me because I really take a lot of photos of my friends and family. Beauty effect and overprocessing is an issue and it's there in all of these three smartphones. None of these have managed to process photos with correct white balance and skin tone. Saturation is usually high on Xiaomi 12 Pro, but iQOO 9 Pro has also occasionally increased saturation. iQOO 9 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro continued to produce photos with high vibrance. AI or no AI, it's almost the same. In general, OnePlus 10 Pro replicates almost correct skin tone, Xiaomi 12 Pro comes next and then iQOO 9 Pro. Color grading is better on OnePlus 10 Pro and then it's iQOO 9 Pro. In terms of details and sharpness, it's Xiaomi 12 Pro and actually altogether, Xiaomi 12 Pro human subject photos looks much more attractive and true to life. All of these three smartphones comes with telephoto lens and they have different focal length. OnePlus 10 Pro uses its 3.3 times telephoto lens, iQOO 9 Pro uses its 2.5 times telephoto lens and Xiaomi 12 Pro uses its 2 times telephoto lens to take portrait photos. We have talked about color grading, white balance and saturation in previous segment and things are almost the same in portrait photos. Xiaomi 12 Pro and iQOO 9 Pro has increased saturation while OnePlus 10 Pro dropped saturation. All of these three have processed photos with beauty effect by default, but skin tone on Xiaomi 12 Pro got worse. Subject detection is almost similar and very good on all three smartphones. But one more time, OnePlus 10 Pro is leading the way with more details on the subject, better separation between subject and background, while Xiaomi 12 Pro is the worst among these three. It's easy this time. OnePlus 10 Pro gets this point for better portrait photography. Let's check these pictures carefully. I have noticed this trend on Xiaomi 12 Pro. I think Xiaomi 12 Pro really hates the color yellow. It always saturates the color yellow and OnePlus 10 Pro actually does the opposite. It always dries out the color yellow. This is frustrating and at the same time I'm surprised to see how iQOO 9 Pro got all the colors almost correct. Even if it has missed a few times, but iQOO 9 Pro has the best natural color rendition in indoor low light environment. we are strictly not allowed to open mask in public or in outdoors, so I had to take selfie photos indoor in my studio. I have tried my best. I'm not a selfie guy, and what I see, it's very confusing because selfie video was very good on Xiaomi, but Xiaomi 12 Pro has failed to produce good selfie photos. It seems iQOO 9 Pro and OnePlus 10 Pro has done better. I'm not gonna give any point for this segment. I will leave this point to you. You decide which smartphone should get a point for selfie photos. Okay, time for verdict. Vivo iQOO 9 Pro got 5 points, but can you really rely on this one as a camera smartphone? I don't think personally I will depend on Vivo iQOO 9 Pro as a camera smartphone, and iQOO actually releases 2 to 3 smartphones, 2 to 3 flagship smartphones in a year. I cannot accept it that after 3 or 4 months this smartphone will become previous generation smartphone. Okay, what about OnePlus 10 Pro? This one got the lowest, 4 points in this comparison. And performance of OnePlus 10 Pro is actually not that stable. It's not that consistent. Personally, I don't think OnePlus will try hard to make camera performance of OnePlus 10 Pro to the super flagship league, because as far as I know, OnePlus is working on another flagship smartphone, a super flagship smartphone. So no. Finally, we have this Xiaomi 12 Pro, and yes, as Xiaomi has already done magic with one update, I can expect that they will tune this a bit more with new updates. And as this one has a better main sensor, yes, it's a old sensor, but a customized one, customized for Xiaomi 12 Pro. So I think Xiaomi has something in their mind that they will update this one. It's very difficult to say which one I will go with, but altogether I think Xiaomi 12 Pro would be a better choice, an overall better choice. But iQOO 9 Pro, no, I won't depend on that one for camera performance. Well, that's what I think about these smartphones' camera performance. I would like to know what you think about these smartphones. Don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts and ideas in the comment section. Also, if you have liked this video, then please click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Please support true content.